Hello, my name is Simon and welcome to the Retro Revisited vlog channel. And this is going to be my first movie review for this channel because I've just seen Pokémon The Movie I Choose You in my local UK cinema. And I thought this would be a good time to just have a few thoughts about it, seeing as it's video game related. I don't see many films that are video game related. Yeah, just thought I'd give you my quick thoughts on it and mix it up with a bit of footage and the stuff related to it. Overall, I Choose You is not a good film. I think that's safe to say. It's not necessarily bad. It's just perhaps not as good as it could have been, but it's definitely better than it also could have been. So it's a mixed bag. Talking of mixed bags, the plot is a bit rambling and all over the place, but I'll attempt to summarise it. You follow Ash Ketchum, who is a 10-year-old Pokemon trainer, or wannabe Pokemon trainer, who leaves his loving mother and goes off into the wild to battle creatures, obviously Pokemon. I don't know why I'm saying this synopsis like you've never heard of what Pokemon is. I imagine if you're watching this you do know what it is. And basically what the film attempts to do is summarise the first season of the anime. So it follows him from his troubling early relationship with Pikachu, where he doesn't really listen to anything he says, to watching Caterpie evolve into Metapod and then Butterfree, and other various small stories. And it attempts to do those in a super fast 90-minute version, but then it also adds this other plot line around the mystical legendary Pokemon Ho-Oh, who is of course the flying bird Pokemon. I think he's a fire Pokemon. God, my knowledge of Pokemon has devolved rapidly over the years, but yeah, I think he's a fire Pokemon. And at the beginning of the film, he drops a wing from one of his feathers to Ash, and this makes him the Rainbow Hero. Yeah, that's right, the Rainbow Hero. And he must take the feather and take it to the top of a mountain, where he then comes face to face with Ho-Oh. Along the way, he meets some friends, a very scholarly type whose name I now forget, and a rambunctious female character who has quite a dark past, but you don't really get to see much of it, and that's part of the problem with the film. It just feels very rambling and unfocused. The first half is okay because it hits all the familiar beats of the first season, as I mentioned earlier, but eventually it loses its way, and the final 20 minutes are it's hard to follow, to be honest. I didn't really understand it myself, what was going on. People are hurt, people are redeemed. It's all just a big mix, and the new Pokemon are introduced. Pokemon hypnotized, attack them. It's all very confusing, and yeah, I thought I'd be able to follow it, as I know about Pokemon compared to some of the parents who were in the screen. But to be honest, I'd lost the many plot threads by the end. It all came together reasonably well, but yeah, so it was a bit of a mess. But in the positive, I think the animation was actually generally quite good. Obviously the Pokemon films, I saw the very first one. I remember years and years ago, I went to see it with my friend and his mum fell asleep well before the halfway point, and I can't blame her looking back at that film now. But as I understand it, the film's animation standards slowly dropped and down, and yeah, this is a bit of a return to form. There's a lot of good, nice animation in there. The battles are very well done, if somewhat repetitive at times. But yeah, overall the film is quite nice looking. There's some CGI which I didn't really feel was needed for a nightmare sequence. But overall, it's nice to see a hand-drawn animated film, and it definitely wasn't lazy, and there were some very nice parts of it that were well animated. Yeah, and more importantly, I think kids will love this film. As I say, I went to see it during a Saturday at 2 o'clock, and the kids in the screening that I was in became very excited whenever a new Pokemon came in. One of them kept screaming "Ho-Oh, Ho-Oh" whenever whenever it turned up on screen, and whenever any new Pokemon, they screamed their names out. So they really enjoyed it. One kid that went past me on the way out said it was epic. So obviously that's a recommendation from him. But yeah, I think younger people will enjoy it. Personally, I thought I was going to get a bit more out of it, being a long-term Pokemon fan. But you can't really criticise it too much. It hit all the main notes. I'm definitely not sad that I saw it. I definitely don't regret it. Mainly because you got loads of free stuff, of which I'm going to show you on screen now. The cinema ticket stub obviously isn't really a free thing, but I did like the way that clearly their till system couldn't handle the accented E, so made it this huge weird O on the ticket. Then you got a free Pokemon card, Pikachu I Choose You, which is quite cool. And then you also got this magazine, which had a few puzzles in it, of which of course obviously I got all right, but also most importantly it folded out for the poster, which I think is actually probably the very best thing about the film. That may sound a bit critical, but I think yeah, the poster is really fantastic. It looks amazing. The art on it is just, yeah, it's beautiful, the poster. If only the film could have lived up to that, but to be honest, overall it wasn't that bad. So yeah, overall, oh yeah, and before I forget, it's quite fitting, but the end credits, the showing I saw it, as I said, in the UK, after the credits, of which there were several images of previous characters like Brock and Misty from the anime and from the Gold and Silver anime and so on. Right after that there was about, I'm not kidding, 15-20 minutes of just added stuff, but it wasn't like it was outtakes or deleted scenes. It was just a random mishmash of just unrelated nonsense. Like, it started off and it showed you the boot up screen of the original Pokemon. I am not kidding. I'll show it on screen, maybe not, I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, it was the original black and white Pokemon, Red Edition, and it just showed that, and then a battle from that. Then it morphed into this montage of all these scenes from the anime over the obviously infamous theme music, and then there were a couple of vignettes. There was one about Gary, who obviously was Ash's big rival, not in the film, by the way. In the film, very few of the anime characters are in there. It's all pretty much new characters. You see Professor Oak and Ash's mum, but that's about it really in terms of the Nurse Joy, you see her as well. But other than that, there's very few characters you see from the anime in this film. They're all pretty much all new characters, including a douchebag rival who believes in might over friendship. Even though Ash says he likes friends, he still battles his Pokemon to pretty much near death. But yeah, as I was saying, and then there was another clip at the end about Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, trying to be caught by FBI agents and then isn't, and then you see him leave. And then there's another replaying of the theme music over more clips, and it's just bizarre, and then it ends. But yeah, the people around me, half the cinema left before seeing this, and the other half were just bemused by this constant bombardment of just unrelated nonsense. It was nice, I suppose, but it didn't really feel like it had any purpose, so I didn't really understand that bit, but it was amusing all the same. You definitely got your money's worth in terms of free tat and extra stuff after the credits. Kind of what I expected, really. A bit of a rambling mess, but it's a love letter to Pokemon. It's a bit crazy. There's some really strange moments in it, including one bit with Pikachu near the end. I won't ruin it, but let's say if you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It just comes out of left field, and most of the people in the screening I was with just were bemused, to say the very least, when it happened. And that was added in with all the confusion of the plot, which didn't really make much sense by the end. But yeah, overall, Pokemon The Movie I Choose You, I give it 2 out of 5, mainly through effort rather than quality. There's some decent stuff in there, but as I said, unless you're a big Pokemon fan, you won't get a lot out of this. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please do subscribe to this channel and subscribe to my Retro Revisited main channel, which there's a link to somewhere here on the screen, hopefully. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.